Hello folks, my name's Mark, this is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So, this is a video about Black Lives Matter and the recent police shootings. Before we get into it, I want to say that I'm not here to defend Black Lives Matter because I think there's lots of problems with the actual movement. First and foremost among those is that they're not as inclusive as the prior civil rights movement before them. What do I mean by that? Well, they don't seem to mind it when people who are not black come to march with them and things like that. But at the same time, I've been told straight out by, online and in real life, from BLM protesters that as someone who's not black, my opinion doesn't matter. Right. I've heard that straight out. I've heard guys say, well, you're not black, this isn't for you. It's like, well, wow, dude, that's kind of fucked up. It's I'm here in solidarity with you guys, but you don't want to hear what I got to say. So that kind of makes me like not very motivated to go like support them. But, I do think that their movement is justified and actually needed. I just wish it was a little more inclusive. So why do I say that? So, well, there's been a lot of news lately about the sniper attacks in Dallas, and you're seeing it on the news like basically for the last week, 24/7. Interviews with the families of the cops and things like that, and there was a big memorial, and the president came down to the memorial and that kind of thing. And I just want to kind of put it in perspective. It's like, well, why is there a BLM now? Because a lot of what I'm hearing out of right-wing circles in the alt-right and everything is that they're essentially a terrorist group now, which I think is a load of crap. So I just kind of want to remind people, it's like, why is there a Black Lives Matter movement in the first place? It's because in this country there are two Americas, right? After all of the advancements we've made since civil rights and all of that, and the first black president and everything, after all that advancement, right? It's race relations in this country just really have not advanced as much as we thought. In 2009, if you guys remember, there was a college professor named Henry Louis Gates Jr., and he got arrested breaking into his own house. I don't know if you guys remember that. And basically what happened was that he locked his keys in the house, so he had to like go through a window. Somebody thought that he was a burglar, called the cops on him. Cop shows up. He shows him his ID, right? Shows him that he proves that he lives there, but the cop arrests him anyway, and he ends up going to jail, right? And then Obama commented on it saying, oh, well, this is stupid, because it was, right? A man gets arrested for breaking into his own house, especially when he already shows the address on his driver's license shows that he fucking lives there. That's dumb. Why was this guy arrested, right? And somehow the narrative out of, Fox News and right-wing circles and everything was that this made Obama racist somehow. I don't know if you guys remember that shit, right? Why? Because it's a black guy, it's fucking bullshit, right? 2012, Trayvon Martin gets shot walking down the street by George Zimmerman. If you guys remember that, Trayvon was just, a 17-year-old kid, went to the grocery store or, liquor store, got some Skittles and some iced tea, was going back to his dad's house to watch a basketball game or something. Zimmerman wasn't even a cop. That was the thing. He was like this wannabe vigilante. Sees a kid that he doesn't recognize, decides to go fucking with him, gets in a fight with, Trayvon, and then ends up shooting him, right? Zimmerman, started the altercation. He used lethal force. He wasn't even a police officer. And if you remember, the controversy wasn't about the fact that he shot a kid. It was about the fact that he wasn't even arrested for shooting a kid. Now think about, if Zimmerman was black and Trayvon was white, right? Think about what would have happened then. Okay. Do you think there would have been an arrest, right? I think there would have. 2012, a 12-year-old kid named Tamir Rice is in a park. He's got an airsoft gun. He's playing around with his gun, his toy gun. Somebody calls the cops. The cops show up. They shoot him within 2 seconds, right? The cop says that he reached for his belt or whatever, and I had no choice. I had to shoot him. But when you watch the video, it's like he's like playing in the park, and then the car shows up, and then the cop gets out, blows him away 2 seconds later. Doesn't try to talk to him, doesn't try to tell him to put it down or any shit like that. Right. Later that year, there's a guy named John Crawford III, and he goes into a Walmart. He picks up a BB gun because he's going to buy it, right? He's shot, and then he continues to shop in the Walmart, walking around, talking on his phone, right? Somebody calls the cops. They show up, right? The dude is still on his phone when the cops walk. He's holding the gun like this, like he's gonna, buy it, right? He's not pointing it at anybody. The cops come in, they blow him away. They don't even try to talk to him. They don't tell him to put the gun down. They don't tell him to do any shit like that, right? Dead, right, for buying a fucking BB gun. July 2012, a black woman named Sandra Bland is driving in her car. She gets pulled over for a traffic stop, right? She pisses the cop off, and the cop decides that he's gonna like arrest her, right? Because he made her mad, right? So she's arrested for a traffic violation, and the cop decides he's gonna teach her a lesson. Throws her in prison, throws her in jail for the night. While she's in jail, she doesn't get her. They don't give her the epilepsy medication that she's taking, and part of the side effects of sudden withdrawal from this medication is paranoia and suicidal thoughts. So they come back the next day, and she strangled herself with a plastic bag from the trash can, and she's dead, right? Because she made a cop angry, and now she's dead. I mean, these are just like, a couple of cases. There's been like so many high profile cases of black people getting the shitty end of the stick, being treated wrong, unfairly, right? Being treated in ways that a white person would never be treated, as far as like, when it comes to the law. All right. A white person would never be thrown in prison and in jail for a traffic stop and then not given their medication, right? A white man would never be arrested breaking into his own house, especially when he can prove that he lived there, right? A white kid wouldn't get shot after 2 seconds, right? Or a white man wouldn't be shot buying a BB gun. I mean, and these are just like a handful of cases. There's like so many more, and there's so many that we can list to just demonstrate that black people don't live in the same America that white people and other people live in. Okay, I mean, there's two Americas now, and it's when you're black, you get that. I mean, you've heard people say this, right, on online and elsewhere. When you're black, you get that speech. When you're old enough, they tell you how you need to like interact with the cops. Yes sir, no sir. Be careful because they might kill you, right? I never had to have that fucking conversation, right? I don't fear police officers, right? I mean, I'm not even exactly white, but I look white enough that I can go outside. When I see a cop, I'm reasonably confident that he's not going to kill me, right? I can flag him down if I need help, right? And he's not going to blow me away. That's not going to be his first reaction, right? It's not the same for a black person in this country, right? The evidence does not, bear out, right? So that's what Black Lives Matter is all about, okay? It's not about, black superiority, right? It's not about, there's no black power involved. It's not about hating white people, right? It's not saying that Black Lives Matter more. It's saying Black Lives Matter also, And I wish them luck. And the only thing that I wish they were just more inclusive of allowing other people who aren't black to join the movement. And I really think that's why that they haven't accomplished any of the goals that they have. Black Lives Matter have they have 10 or 15 actual, I think 10 or so like actual policy proposals that they want to see enacted, and they haven't gotten anywhere with it. And the reason why I think they haven't gotten anywhere with it is because their movement is not inclusive, and it's going to keep it from growing, But that's beside the point. The point is that their movement is needed, I think, and I think it's necessary. And to call them a terrorist organization because a guy who was not affiliated with them went up and sniped at cops is ridiculous. Anyway, that's all I got here. Adios.